Welcome back to Season 7 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw. With me today are my crew, Janelle Wheeler, Matthew Aguilar, and joining us, Mr. Evan Valentine is back after his hiatus. What's up, everybody?
Happy belated birthday, Evan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I hear a big thing happened.
Yeah. There's an expert segue. We had a opening to the show, but we had to change it because as we were hopping on this Friday morning, the monumental industry-shaking news just dropped that Netflix has acquired Warner Brothers for a whopping $72 billion, like a Dr. Evil threat. So Netflix now owns Warner Brothers and everything that comes with it. So, yeah, this is nuts. We had a whole show. This thing is called Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This all looks crazy now because of this news. This should be like really the sole focus of our show. But yeah, let's just talk about it. Let's just get into it. So we got to kind of abandon the plan, but we are on a tight schedule because everybody's got stuff to do. So we're going to try to pot our way through all this. But all right, Netflix gets Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, if you don't know anything, and most of you don't know any real film history, so let me just kind of break this down for you. Warner Brothers was one of the biggest studios when the studio system came up. They have one of the most vast libraries of properties through the main studio, through subsidiaries like New Line and things like that, through a whole bunch of other stuff. This is one of the biggest film and TV. Warner Brothers Television is involved in so many things you probably don't even realize, cross productions. That's why you get things like on HBO Max, then over at Paramount or this, that, and the other, is because they have fingers in so many different properties and things like that. So what this means for Netflix is they just acquired a permanent, vast library of formerly licensed content that they no longer have to pay for every time they stream or cut the profits or do that. They can stream Friends as much as they want.
Yeah, they can.
You get it now? So that 72 billion seems like a whopping number until you begin to really make the bean counters kind of do it and forecast it over time. Like, how much were we paying for, Friends and to get that into streaming and then having to give back this? I'd rather just own it all, stream it whenever I want, and then own everything, involved with it. If we do a reunion, if we remerch, if we do anything, now that profit comes back to Netflix. And so for Netflix, I get this. This is in some ways what the end game for Netflix has always been, in terms of going through these years and years of spending money and just bleeding out money, is to do this, is to eventually begin to acquire the big dog libraries and become the sole controller of, this. Now there is no debate anymore, right? Like, there is no Disney, you can sit down because what you got Marvel, we have the entire history of DC movies at our disposal. Whenever we want to roll out Tim Burton's Batman, we can roll him out. We can take him away. When we want to roll out Nolan's Batman, we can roll him out. We can take him away. We can roll out the Schumacher films. We can roll out a Schumacher cut if we want. Like, we can do all these things, right? So there isn't, like, pound for pound now, there's nobody. Like, this is kind of the end of the streaming wars. Hey, we should have titled that have been a great title for this. I wonder if we can do this before the end. Streaming Wars Endgame. Netflix acquires Warner Brothers.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Peter, if we could change this by the end, that'd be great. Because
then we'll have portals, and then we'll have
Yeah.
all of the different IP from WB coming out of the portals.
Harry Potter. Yeah, this is dirty, right? Yeah, they're getting this. This is nuts too. We got to talk about this because this is nuts. Like, the full scope of just processing what this means. We got to process like everything HBO was doing. Like,
That's
this
what
whole
I was going to
thrust
ask you. Yeah.
of new Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, DC TV shows. Yeah, baby, that's Netflix now. So
it sits right next to K-pop Demon Hunters, right in the queue.
There you go.
Yeah. So
wait,
I don't.
Game of Thrones is not going to be on HBO.
It is HBO, but HBO is now owned by Netflix. Like Warner Brothers owns HBO. Time Warner.
Oh my God.
Is this a
Let this all
real-time
sink
reaction?
in. Yeah. Let this all begin to sink in. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of the current properties. I just kept thinking about like past.
The legacy stuff, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
man. That's
Whoa.
huge. And this also, like, from the, this is one of those things like you were talking about how like this has been the end game for Netflix all along. And this also solves there's things that like when this deal first popped up, I saw a lot of like, oh my gosh, like this makes no sense. This is like, where is this coming from? They have no chance, whatever. And then as you start really looking at it and go, no, this solves a lot of problems actually for Netflix from both the library perspective and their whole approach to theaters and theatrical and the constant call to, hey, put more movies in, the stigma that look, I don't love sometimes like when we have conversations and it's like, oh, it's just a Netflix movie or whatever. It's just a movie. Like a movie's a movie, right? For me, I don't really distinguish it as long as it's good. And so, but there is that stigma that Netflix has and streaming movies actually have overall. And Netflix now has a huge feather in its cap to go, no, we're a studio now too. We have this whole arm that is nothing but studio things. And I do see in the comments like where they are, they have come out and said like, hey, we're gonna release movies right in theaters and keep that going. And I know it's probably popular to be like, well, that's not gonna last or whatever. But from a money making perspective, Netflix has there's no reason why they wouldn't continue to do that.
Yeah, let's stick on this because a lot of people are really kind of up in arms about this.
Like money's money.
Yeah, here's what they say. They say they're, Ted Sarandos, head of Netflix, said their plan is to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strengths, including theatrical releases. It also has HBO and HBO Max, right? Okay, this crew, we've been through how many acquisitions now, right? We've gone from medium company to big corporate company back to medium company. We know certain things about acquisitions, right? There's always an opening statement to an acquisition.
True.
To get things handed off.
That doesn't
once things are
always
handed
hit.
off, things change. Those are the only two things you're going to guarantee. Stability for handoff, everything changes after handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some big questions and concerns here. Right. So what does happen to... There's two things I have questions about. What happens to HBO Prestige TV? Number one. And what happens to theatrical releases in the 5-year plan? That's number two.
Same.
These are my big questions, like everybody else, because these are the two biggest overhead costs for the least amount of return, right? Like HBO is a prestige operation. It does not necessarily make money off of, because they don't advertise a whole lot. They don't outside advertise. They don't do anything like that. It's all kind of prestige TV in that brand. For somebody like Netflix, is that still even a business model? Like, does Netflix believe in that kind of thing? Right? Like,
assume no.
yeah. So it's kind of like, that one's a big one. HBO Prestige TV going away right when they were bringing it back in a big way would be, or forcing everybody to go to streaming or something like that. Like that'll be nuts.
Are we talking like all of James Gunn DC stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, this makes me sad. I tend to always think things are going to be bad before hoping for the best. And I'm like, we were just having our DC moment. Like this, wasn't it like last week we were talking about what we were thankful for and all of us were like, the new DC. Like super.
Well, yeah, this happens. I mean, this happens to us every time. So here we are again.
But I don't but that before
I don't
we
think
get derailed
that's doom
into
and
that.
gloom. Yeah,
I don't think
that's doom and gloom.
I don't think that hurts it necessarily.
Not
okay,
necessarily.
thank you. I just need to hear the experts tell me that.
In fact, James Gunn might have more options for content lanes, streaming shows, things like that.
True.
But my thing, I'm staying with theatrical for
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You're muted, buddy.
So I think that like, yeah, with Janelle, with like the DC stuff, I think that as Matt kind of said, like, yeah, it does give James Gunn like a couple more avenues. I think that like Netflix is kind of always looking for more content. I think like with if I were to predict like what's going to happen with like HBO Max and Netflix and stuff, I would imagine it's going to be something similar to like Disney Plus and Hulu, where like Disney owns, the vast majority of Hulu, but they kind of still coexist. Where like
not
maybe
me. Oh,
Dude,
no,
I'm
you think they're
so
going to kind of
confused by
merge
that.
together?
Like, I
I
can't
think we've
stand
unlocked
this.
Netflix Max.
No.
is what
Oh
we are
no,
doing.
that's perfect. That's a perfect brand.
Yeah.
Netflix Max. Yeah, it's too
Yeah,
good.
Netflix. There'll be, if anything, it'll be kind of like what Paramount Plus and Showtime. It would be the first iteration I would expect,
Oh yeah, that would
where
make
you
sense.
literally, it's like you can have Netflix or you can have Netflix Max with the access to all that other content for a premium price. So yeah, if I'm a shark, that's how I'm thinking. Also, yeah, I'm there's this weird sickness going around Nashville where we all have no fevers and no other symptoms except this persistent crazy cough and congestion. It's awesome. So I might be cutting out a lot to cough my brains out. I also have tinnitus in one ear because of this. Now it's great.
Oh my gosh.
We're all doing good.
Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like an Archer episode.
We had it like 3 weeks ago, so I understand.
Yeah, it's nuts, right? Nashville, man. This place. Anyway, so this is not a Nashville pod, but if this week it could be. But yeah, one thing when I started coughing, I wanted to stay with theatrical because I was running around New York in the 2010s, and there was this small experiment in operation where places like Amazon and Netflix began to kind of do pop-ups of their own theaters and try to test those waters. That's the other thing. I don't think that idea ever went away. I think it just wasn't ready, and then the COVID happened.
Yeah.
But like the other thing, now you have Amazon, MGM. Like I think we are gearing up for the theatrical business model to switch to these you are going to see, there are no more theaters and multiplexes offering you the wide variety of movies. You're going to theaters and chains that are offering you multiple selections within one studio or streaming or overall company system. You know what I mean? Like you're going to Amazon Theater to watch either this Prime stuff or this MGM stuff or whatever, or you're going to Netflix Theater to see Gray Man 2 or Justice League or,
I mean, they already have the model with the Netflix house launching, right? So they got to do is just add a theater to it. Like
just buy up the real estate and convert it. Like that's it. And so I'm more worried about companies like Regal and AMC. Like they're kind of next on the chopping block. So I'm more worried about that because that's nuts. Like if we're all filtering into theaters just for one company, I feel like there's something really egalitarian we lose. Oh my God. Producer Peter put it in the chat. Gray Man 2, The Search for Curly's Gold. Yes, I mean, that's the thing that could happen now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, Action Packed over on YouTube says it's pretty. This has been the tricky thing. There are kind of monopoly laws and things like that kind of protect the theatrical system right now, but we'll see. Laws are a funny thing these days, so we'll see. We'll see if this lasts. But I think there's fair reason to be intrigued, but also concerned.
I would kind of say that like I'm a little more optimistic about the idea of Netflix like keeping the kind of current theater model with the recent releases of like Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and Knives Out, the latest Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. Wake Up Dead Man coming out. Both were released in theaters a couple weeks before they hit streaming. I mean, for a long time, like there's always, even for long before, like I felt like long before like streaming really became the thing, there was always kind of like people were like, well, how long are theaters gonna last? And I think that like even if we eventually lose like Regal and AMC or what have you, the idea of having like more local stuff, like I have a couple locally owned theaters near me that play like old movies, and like man, like Rocky Horror Picture Show at midnight always sells out here in Atlanta. So like that would be something interesting. But like, yeah, this whole thing ultimately feels like the best case scenario for like a lot of the worst things. Like it at the end of the day, I'm not thrilled that Netflix and Warner Brothers are becoming one giant conglomeration at this point, but like could have been worse. You just have to kind of shrug your shoulders and say could have been worse.
I do have a question based on the comments. Did Paramount actually write a letter?
Oh yes. Oh
Yep.
yes. And it was drafted in part by, shout out to Karen. Shout out to you, Karen, out there. You know.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Old,
no business talking about
almost
fair.
member of the Outlaw family. I was gonna say there's a couple things I want to talk about from the chat. One, yeah, you know who's sick right now is the Ellison family in Paramount. All those guys in that boardroom are so sick. Because what a weak ass merger comparatively to this, like, right? Like, oh man, you guys are like the Mini Cooper of mergers now. Like, you're like, yo, we clicked up. It's us. It's Skydance and Paramount. Okay, cool. Like, great.
It's Netflix and WB.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, yeah, they sick. But hey,
man.
karma's a B. What can I say? We don't feel bad for you over here. So what do you want me to say?
I just thought I saw that. No, that's just like it's one of those things where okay, maybe there's a point to be made, but bad messenger, like not the messenger. Sorry.
Okay, I want to respond to one person in the chat. Yash Revista 44611. Anyway, bro, I'm gonna just kind of reply to a couple things. You came in the chat late, but we were talking about theaters. It doesn't mean theaters are gone. They might just get rebranded as Netflix theaters. I think one area that is interesting is I think this is good for all of these potential like comedy buddy comp sequels that we might want, like Rush Hour 4, because Buddy in the chat's freaking out. Oh, we almost got Rush Hour 4. Now we don't get it. No, I think it's the opposite. Happening. Yeah, I think it's the opposite. I think you get more Rush Hour 4s and sequels and stuff that Netflix
too many.
Because Netflix can just pump those mid-budget. They'll make it mid-budget and put it out on streaming. Just like Coming to America 2, which we loved more than most of 98% of the
and I feel like that's
Good Burger 2. Yeah.
Would you rather have that? Because to me, as someone who enjoyed those, for what they were and for what they would always be. I'm sorry, like some people have this crazy idea, like, oh, these were going to be like, oh, there was going to be something different under somebody else. No. I think that nostalgia changes how you view that. For as good as those were going to be, I think that release format was perfect for them. Otherwise, they don't exist. Or the only reason they exist is for a headline that says this thing bombed at the box office and it didn't make its money back. And that's all we see about the movie. And then it fades away into the ether. I'd rather have it in a different format and enjoy it upon my own time and then bounce. Yeah, like I don't understand why you would rather not have it in one particular fashion or not have it at all. To me, I would rather have it in one particular fashion as opposed to not having it. And then if you don't want it, don't watch it. Anyway, there's this whole other streaming and Netflix conversation that has also blended into Stranger Things and streaming as a whole that bothers the hell out of me because I don't understand it. So anyway, that's bleeding into this conversation.
Another thing
okay.
Another thing that from the chat that I want to address, and it's not hopeful. Yeah, I think physical media is going to be starting to get cooked here. Yeah.
What do you mean starting? Where have you been for the last decade?
Not buying physical media.
Nobody like buys, and it's really sad. I will constantly harp on the fact that like the saddest thing for me as a physical media guy, I still buy Blu-rays and 4K HD stuff, but like one of the saddest things to me is like walking through a Target or a Best Buy and they don't have Blu-rays or DVDs anymore, but they have vinyl, which is so weird. Like
vinyl has made such a comeback.
Gen Z made some curious choices, guys. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Do a little more cultural research. Gen Z now thinks that, well, they've moved on from disposable cameras back to digital cameras. They're breaking out digital cameras again. Like, we've gotten back. They think vinyl is cool. CDs are cool again. Like,
that's amazing, though. Like, also, can I just give credit to Gen Z for the once again thriving of malls, that makes me happy.
Oh, I
As someone
love
who went to a
that.
Are
mall,
malls thriving again?
yes,
didn't
because
know that.
Gen
They're picking
Z
back up. Yes.
Oh
is,
wow,
is
because all of
looking
mine
for a
back home are
place,
shut down.
right? But that's the point. Is like I love malls.
Mhm.
And like I love being able to go to a mall, and there's so few of them, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the ones that are out there are like just sad, right? It's
Yeah.
sad. So to see a mall populated again, which like we have one here that's actually kind of popping, and it's because of that. It's that this new wave of this new generation who are like, yeah, we want a place to hang out.
They
Hey,
saw
there was a
Stranger
place for that.
Things, and they were
Yeah,
like,
there was a place to do that. It's called
Yeah.
the mall.
There's also a lot of them have freaking problems with this kind of the abstraction of ordering online, and it's like
Yeah.
they've discovered the actual, value of
shopping.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, of aesthetic,
Yeah.
seeing things, touching things.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I do that. We had told the story about my son in the Halloween costume, how he was having an anxiety attack until I took him to a spirit Halloween. He could actually
Yep.
run around and like, yeah,
So cool.
it matters. So I'm not crapping on physical media. I think it'll just, if anything, you guys, this is your time. All of us, West Coast video kids and Blockbuster video kids and all of that, like, hold on to your stuff. This is why you hold on to it, because if they stop making it, and when these generation alpha, like my kids now, get up and they're all screwed up in the head and they need physical things to touch, and they wander, and my kids wander up here finally to this entertainment stand I have packed with stuff behind me and comics packed behind me. Like, they're going to be like, it's a revolution. They're going to be TikToking their comic books they're holding, and like, yeah, be like, yeah, this is the new cool. And then all your collection is going to finally be worth that money. So hold on to your stuff.
All those
Matt, you're
spare
about to be a
spawns
billionaire.
you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spawn number ones. You got those extras like in there?
I got mine on the tuck.
Gonna go
Signed
from
by
25
Todd.
cents to 50 cents on those spawn number
Yeah,
ones.
man.
Yeah, now you had to be there at Philadelphia Comic Book Convention when Todd was fresh and just started, and the line was short, and you had to get in there and get out.
Wizard World.
Oh
Yep.
man.
Oh yeah, see,
I miss.
Yeah, my
See,
man
that's
knows. All
okay.
right.
You talk about nostalgia. I have a lot of nostalgia for Wizard World, but yeah, I do. And also, I wasn't trying to poo-poo on physical media from before. I was just saying the battle for physical media has been going on
been
for like
ongoing,
a decade,
Yeah,
and has
it's
been
going for a minute.
losing for the last 5 years. I mean, there's a reason why all of the consoles almost have a digital only option. I literally went ahead and changed over to my digital only PS5 when I had to get a new one, because I looked at my buying history for the past 2 years and realized I had bought one physical game, and I owned the disc drive original version of the PS5, and went, well, that makes no sense. There's no reason for me to continue to have that if I literally bought one game. And it was
I
a
bought the
Christmas gift.
I paid for the digital one, and they accidentally sent me the CD one anyway.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, I mean, that's good for me. I
Oh,
have
that's a
all
good thing. Yeah,
maximum
it's always
options,
good to have the
so I was like,
option.
eh.
Yeah, but yeah, like I've looked at, I'm very much a how can this be convenient for me? Media needs to kind of, like, I'm very much like, hey, if there's a game, like, I want it programmed in a way where it's like cognizant of people's time, because like I don't have a ton of time to game. I don't have 80 hours just in a week or whatever, which is why I like things released when, I can just go in to whatever my schedule is, get a little pocket, and then bounce. If I got 8 hours, I got 8 hours. Great. But like, I like having the options. And so that we've seen that, and that's unfortunately hurt physical media in a big way, but it's just way more convenient for me to download something overnight and have it sitting there in the morning at 4 a.m. It's ready.
It also kind of runs, and let's be honest, once you download the whole game, it runs smoother. So anyway, but we're so far off. Speaking of gaming, though, this is a good segue. I don't know what happens to WB games. Netflix isn't in gaming. Like, I mean, they've just dabbled in that.
I saw an article
This
that
could be big for them.
They're looking to sell like the licenses for like Batman.
Yeah,
and,
WB Games has
Mortal
been in
Kombat.
such a disarray for the past 2 years anyway. I don't actually think this hurts or helps them. They're in the I actually probably it was the perfect time, because Netflix gets in there before a bunch of deals were maybe made. And so then they can just dictate. They were already going the Disney way, because if you notice, Disney's gaming division did the same thing. They started just licensing out Marvel games. They started licensing out to other developers and stopped. It's a lot of money to house a game studio and develop on your own, and then also, go publishing and all that. So they just started licensing everything. And look, we can't complain too much. I mean, we got Insomniac's Marvel verse from that, right? From that idea. And so
Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals, Marvel, is it Token? The new
Token
fighting
Battle,
game?
Token Souls
Yeah,
Battle.
like all of that stuff has come from the fact that they're licensing to studios and going, hey, see what you can do with this. If DC follows the same format, I ain't mad. They just gotta quit canceling crap.
Oh, I have breaking news. I have breaking news about this very topic. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Netflix expects to keep releasing Warner Brothers films theatrically. So they for now.
Yeah, no, we said the Ted Sarandos when we read that. We said that earlier.
Oh, you did? My bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, you're good. Trust me. I have some bones to pick on. I did a playback of last week's episode. I missed some slick stuff you all said. I was like,
what'd I say?
Oh no, it was. Oh no, it was Janelle. It was. We totally messed up something because I was fidgeting with my equipment and I didn't hear her say about Daredevil Born Again. She was asking if there was season 2. Yeah, there's definitely season 2. It's already been shot. Like, it's already done, and it looks dope. We've seen the set photos. It's gonna be nuts. So yes, to answer your question from last week, that's a random aside.
Thanks,
I was doing my weekly playbacks, and I was like, wait a minute, when did this happen? But no, so we miss each other constantly in episodes. It happens a lot more than you think. We just are good, and the audience doesn't know. But yes, we said that earlier. But what we were saying is we think a 5-year plan will be to change that over, like, because that's where I launched in the whole thing about acquisitions and everything stays the same at first, but then things change. So over 5 years, I would expect the theatrical system to morph a little bit, not to go away or be killed, but to like I said, I was in New York when Netflix was walking around the real estate of New York, doing these pop-ups, testing this whole idea out. And then now they have Netflix House, as Matt pointed out. So the groundwork has been laid for this, just like as in the chat, producer Peter saying the gaming division. If you've seen your Netflix account in like the last 2 years, you've seen them start to dabble and integrate games. They try to get you to play GTA or the old ones or other games.
They just released Red Dead Redemption that you can play on your phone, which is so weird.
But it takes up huge amounts of data, which was the problem. And it was sloppy, like choppy, and huge amounts of data you were eating up. That was like the whole thing. Yeah, so I think that gaming will be interesting because either, like you said, they'll license everything out and just use that as a revenue point, or this will be the infrastructure they integrate to help make Netflix an actual gaming studio. I don't know which way they're thinking about going. So Netflix being a total entertainment hub would be the ultimate end goal, I would imagine. But yeah, I don't know how fast or how deep they're going to get into gaming because gaming's such a weird animal and such a hard thing to kind of crack. Well, we'll see. Oh man, we have a whole other show here. Like we had to, but it's funny because a lot of this now is so invalid or just like crazy, new context because of this. So let's keep moving forwards with our regular show. This has been our breaking news kind of interrupted segment, the Netflix Warner Brothers merger. DC Comics. I don't even know how that works. Like, this is business stuff. I've
always really quickly, I've always kind of felt that like DC Comics is going to be safe regardless of whoever buys it, because what I've kind of looked at when it comes to comic books with DC and Marvel is that they're effectively IP farms for the larger companies in that they create ideas for the movies and even bigger for the theme parks and stuff. So I figure that as long as they're like breaking even or even they're like making a little less money, I think they'll be safe. Fingers crossed.
It is kind of a weird hedgehog thing in that whole model is like, we've said that same thing. Matt's been like on that platform since we turned on this podcast is that like DC, because we were doing it when DC Universe launched. So that was like a big topic we talked about was that DC.
That's how long this show's been going. There was no
we don't get any credit. It's almost nuts that we have like avoided credit in spotlight for all this. But we have been doing this for 7 years. It's pretty like weekly or more than once weekly for 7 straight years. Yes. And we've talked about pretty much everything in the entertainment industry. It's crazy. But yes, yeah, DC is an IP house. Like they make ideas and they kind of generate, and they're really cooking right now. Like they're actually doing a really great job of fueling the next 10 years of ideas and possible adaptations, absolute all that stuff. So yeah, it is a weird hedgehog, so I think it is safe. Now, we are going to segue. We can just make this the whole theme of the show. We can come back to this subject if we need to, because I know we're doing this in real time and everybody's going to have light bulbs going on and new thoughts like, oh crap, what about? Yeah, so we can come back. That's totally fine. It's going to be a chaotic show, but let's try to take a step
Kofi,
forward.
Just take us into this next one.
No, it's your topic. Okay, so before Netflix and Warner Brothers merged this week, the biggest thing on our plate was getting actual updates about The Batman Part 2.
Yes.
And we got, some pretty huge casting news. Janelle, take it away.
Yes, and it has actually been confirmed, I think. Scarlett Johansson, who is one of our favorite Marvel girlies, has been confirmed to be in this next one. We don't know who she's going to be playing, but there are a lot of people hypothesizing what they think is going to take place here. One of those is Harley Quinn, which I would be I don't know. Listen, I think she would do an amazing Harley Quinn, but I'm so over it. Like there's just too many. I don't need this right now. I got Lady Gaga. I had Margot. Like we have our animated Harley. Harley is played out for me. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm very interested to see who she will be playing. They obviously say she's going to be in a major role in the film, and as she should be. And I think the big one that a lot of people are thinking it could be is the one from she's not from the animated, but she's a huge character in the animation. And that's is it Phantasm?
Yep.
Yeah, so she is. So
Phantasm.
The Phantasm actually did originally appear. She was much like Harley Quinn. She first appeared in the animated thing and then was brought into the comics. Actually, really recently.
No way.
Yeah, only recently she's been brought back into the comics. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I Googled, of course, you know me, like I saw this news and I was like, wait, who is this? Because I have not watched the animation, and all I saw were these
you gotta watch that.
Dude,
that's like one of the greatest
saw, images
movies
of this,
one of the greatest
and it's
Batman
a man.
movies.
Yeah.
I thought it was a man. I'm like, wait, no way she's playing a dude. Like, what's going on? And then I think that's what's so cool about this.
Oh, you don't even know that whole story. It's a great story. You have to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Where do
it's on? Well, for now, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's on HBO for now.
Netflix Max, baby, get ready.
I'm gonna watch it right now, like after the show.
Yeah, it's hands down one of the best Batman movies there is, and one of the best Batman stories there is. Really, like just the way it's told, like what it's about, how it involves all the lore, like all this stuff is it's man, it's cool.
And
but
as a
Andrea
character,
Beaumont,
she would rule as that character.
ScarJo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
ScarJo. I mean, I was just rewatching Jurassic World Rebirth, and she does good playing more hard-edged, kind of troubled characters like Black Widow or a mercenary in that movie, which is also Black Widow. But she does good.
Sci-fi one she was in. Remember that?
Lucy or
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Yes.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. Lucy, The Island. What's the one? That's the art house one, the real artsy horror one that everybody body something. Like,
what is that one?
Man, Evan, you're my horror guy.
Yeah, I know, but I can't remember what she was. What is that? No,
I'll look it up.
Look it up here.
But yeah, that's gonna be cool. I hope it's Andrea Beaumont. I've also heard that it could be kind of a Phantasm flip where they do Arkham Knight as kind of like a Phantasm flip and kind of
Astrid.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways
Under the
skin.
Under the Skin has one of the most terrifying horror movie scenes of all time. But I digress. That movie really creeped me out.
Yeah, it's a nuts movie. It's a nuts movie, but it also just things ScarJo can do. Also, she can make a Tom Waits album, so she can really do anything, which is crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm interested to see this. I didn't see this coming. I wouldn't have expected her to go back into comic book stuff, but that's interesting. And it's more interesting to see her and Robert Pattinson on screen together, I think.
Oh.
Welcome to DC. Come to DC.
Yeah.
We welcome all of the Marvel people.
We'll
yeah,
give you
yeah,
more
I'm getting in a van
lines.
too. I mean, let's be honest, we all get in a van. If somebody in the chat said I'm getting in a van if ScarJo tells me to, I'm like, yeah, we all are. I mean, where am I going that I'm not getting in that van? Like, what, Sprouts? Like, no. So along with this news, it was also kind of a backdoor for another piece of news related to the Batman Part 2 casting. ScarJo is in,
Womp womp.
but like Highlander, there can only be one baddie. So we're losing a baddie to gain a baddie.
Boo.
Zoe Kravitz is out.
I'm kind of, I'm kind of okay with this because I felt like, I feel like Catwoman's story ended like pretty well in terms of she had so much like time dedicated to her in the first movie with like her and her dad, and like her background and everything that like I feel like the next movie is just going to be jam-packed with stuff in general that it's like it's okay that like Catwoman maybe doesn't return for this one and maybe she comes back in a potential third movie that comes out in 2045 at this point. But like, yeah, it's to me it's not as devastating, but like, yeah, I can totally understand people being like, oh man.
Yeah, also she doesn't need to be in this chapter. Because Christina Milioti is not in this chapter, and where we left things in Penguin was Sophia Falcone and Catwoman kind of making contact in jail while Sophia was back in jail. Catwoman reached out to her. So they don't need to be in this chapter. That's something that's set up in the universe if we ever get to it, whatever, or it becomes headcanon or a later comic or whatever we'll do with it. But that's its own storyline. That would be like the Batman 3 or some other spin-off show or something like that. Like I could see that doing a flip like Gotham City Sirens or something like that with something different with Sophia, Catwoman, some other people, whatever it is. But I don't think that needs to be part of the second movie. No, I think Batman's story can go diverge from Catwoman's story right now, and we're good with that. And she'll be like a off-screen mention. You know what I mean?
I agree with you that it can be. I mean, look, we've seen so many Batman stories without Catwoman before. It's fine as a concept. It'll survive and it'll probably still be great. It's just, to me, it won't be as good probably because I loved their dynamic in the movie. And their dynamic in the first one is a big reason of why I like the first one. So when you remove that, it makes him less interesting to me. It just does. Like they're not. He's not as compelling on his own as he is when they're mingling and weaving in, and their stories are kind of entangled and stuff. Those were some of my favorite parts of the movie. So to lose that is a bummer. Having ScarJo come in and play this other character that I'm familiar with and I really dig that story is lessening the blow. But we talked about this a little bit before because this was rumored that she wasn't going to be in the movie. And I was far more devastated then because I was like, well, that sucks because that immediately to me makes the sequel not as interesting if you remove her from that. And we also knew at that point that Penguin wasn't going to factor in as much as far as Milioti because like, Reeves had been open about that. Like, hey, that we'd already were into script and moving forward with the movie before the series wrapped and all that stuff. We couldn't fit her in. So like that was already a bummer. And then to lose Kravitz on top of that, who I really loved as Selena, I was bummed. So again, ScarJo and having this whole wave makes that less of a bummer for me because okay, cool. We're adding something new to the mix. But it is a bummer because I don't know if we're gonna get a part 3, right? This franchise is so weird and it's
depends on what Netflix does.
Yeah, but okay, here's the thing though. I will say that having Netflix in the picture does actually make me more optimistic that we will get another one or something in that thing because again, money is money, and Netflix is very much like, hey. If this thing is popping over here, we're gonna roll with it. And I do feel like there would probably be a more openness to having this thing continue and be its own thing.
You're gonna get a 4-hour Batman 3 on Netflix.
I'm good with that. And then here's the thing, it's 4 hours. That means I can watch an hour and then walk away, and then come back around and watch 2 hours, and then walk away, and then finish the other hour. Because content is released all at once does not mean you have to consume it all at once. You have actual say in what you watch and when. Please stop treating it as if someone releases 8 hours of content and you must watch it all at once. That is dumb. That is ridiculous to me. It makes no sense.
Matt, how do
So
you
that
feel?
is how people treat this. It's ridiculous.
How do you really, really feel though?
I've seen that so much over the
Yeah, I
past
know.
week. I am just spazzing on it. Cannot stand it. Anyway. Is it my turn? This is my topic. It's my topic. I'm gonna segue into something awesome.
Go for it.
Well, actually, I touched the table, and I was going to say, I was actually going to do a speed segue because we gotta move on all the time here.
Mhm.
So a couple things. We had other news stories, but I think we're gonna go past them a little bit faster. We have a pick. We got our first real look at the Supergirl suit from CCXP, but you can go on comicbook.com, check that out. Looks pretty boss. People are saying, we saw it in Superman. No, you saw Kara in a trench coat. That's not the full costume. This is the full costume, cape and all. Looks dope. Can't wait. Ready for a trailer.
Symbols
All right.
different. The belt's different. Come on, man.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's the best Supergirl costume we've seen so far. Come on,
Yep.
like, let's be real. Next up, the other we're going to talk about that was interesting before Netflix, Warner Brothers, was have we found our new Bond? Denis Villeneuve may have found. I think I got that right. Canadians, did I get that right? French Canadians,
Well done.
help me out again. Our squad. I just freestyled it. I don't know if I nailed it, but Callum Tatum, who's been in things like Masters of Air and the Fantastic Beasts series. You can see a picture of him if you're watching us live. Is rumored to be the person they chose for Bond, which is interesting to me. He's a guy. He's not like he's obviously classically actor handsome, but he's not like so distinct like a Daniel Craig or something like that. He's kind of more. He makes me like wonder like what are they going with in like terms of tone and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm interested what he would be doing, what kind of Bond film. This looks like he could be more of a sinister spy type, playing espionage games. Like I feel like I'm gonna get it more like a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy out of this than I am like a traditional Bond film, but I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think? Do you think, just quick thoughts, because we're going to keep it moving, just like fast reactions.
Meh.
Wow. With the chat too. Wow. Everybody chat in.
I feel like I don't know him well enough.
Nobody
Yeah.
does. That's kind of nice
Yeah.
though. We can
Yeah.
kind of build and the muscles. And somebody says he looks like a young Pierce Brosnan. I can see that too. He weirdly looks like my friend Jake. Shout out to Jake if you ever hear this, who was once an actor too. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to get stuck on this for too long, so let's keep it moving. But we may have a new Bond.
Yay.
All right, let's talk TV. Or let's take a break real quick. Come back. We're going to talk TV. We're going to talk movies, and if we have time, I hope talk comics. Let's go.
Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't? Oh God, what happened? I can't hear anybody.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh no!
man, so I'm just sitting here. Great, but you guys can hear me. So we're back. I'm gonna get my volume things figured out in 1 second here. I don't know what's going on, but we're back in on TV. Raise your hand visually if you saw the latest episode of Pluribus. Anybody see it? Anybody see it?
I did.
Just Evan. Okay. Well, I won't get too deep into that. Interesting things happened in this episode. We're widening our characters a little bit. So yeah, I thought this show, I continue to really enjoy this show. I understand the budget stuff now because this episode did Las Vegas, and just the shots of Las Vegas that they were able to get. It's crazy the amount of like just coordination and stuff they had to do for this show, probably just to film scenes with like 2 actors. Like Vince Gilligan's nuts, but the effect is worth it. Like the visuals, the kind of atmosphere they're creating, doing a whole like real world cleaned out if you did 28 days later for like the whole country like is nuts. But again, I'm digging it. But Evan, you still digging it?
Yeah, no, I definitely am. I think that one of the things that much like it's very aesthetically like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, wherein Vince Gilligan kind of just lets things sit. And that can be seen as like a positive or a negative. I totally get it. People are just like, oh man, these scenes are playing out so slowly. But for me, it just kind of works. It lets you kind of percolate with any of the events that are kind of happening. And like Kofi kind of mentioned, the shots of Las Vegas have been really cool. I think that like a lot of the stuff in terms of the filming itself and the interesting questions that arise as a result of everything just have really made this. I don't think that this is going to ever hit the same heights as Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I think that that's like such a weighty ask in terms of trying to do that. But ultimately, I think that like I have really enjoyed what I've seen from Pluribus so far, and I'm happy to keep watching it.
Yeah, my only question is there a way that this spins into something more like that first episode was intense? Like it was scary. Like, is there a way that we're gonna rank? Because there is a way where this quickly turns and ratchets up in intensity. Like, what happens if these things can turn hostile in some way, and an entire city of people becomes a threat all of a sudden? Like, that shift would be nuts.
There's going to eventually be a time where they're going to figure out how to transform these people into a part of the hive mind, and I would imagine that obviously not everyone's going to be a giant fan of that, or our leading lady is going to have like the ability to actually start transforming people back. So I think that there is going to be like some tension moving forward. I'll be anxious to see what Gilligan does in the season finale for this time.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. Yeah, if you remember, Breaking Bad's first season was just them trying to learn how to deal drugs and almost getting killed by Tuco, and then getting away and being like, okay, now we know how to deal drugs, and then then the show started. We're gonna go and move on to it. Welcome to Derry. I'm just gonna quickly just say, like, yeah, this show continues to mix in great lore, and even Andy Muschietti doing stuff from his own movies and kind of getting that, like the Mrs. Kirsch, that creepy ass scene from It Part 2 with Mrs. Kirsch and that whole thing, and weaving that story and the pictures and the reveal in that movie into this episode with Madeline Stowe, who looks crazy good still, which is nuts. Most nuts thing about this show is how good Madeline Stowe still looks. And yeah, it was all interesting, but this was we're in the deep lore, kind of deep middle section of the show. But next week's episode, I think, will be one we're going to be talking about. It's like a mini Sinners episode we're going to get here with the burning of the black spot, which is a big part of its story, especially for Mike Hanlon. Hanlon, I said again. So we're going to see how this is going to be a big kind of like where I'm like, make or break with the lore changes kind of thing. I want to see how they treat that.
I did really want to talk with you about something, Kofi, because I know you're such a big fan of Dr. Sleep, and I am too. But like, I thought it's been very interesting. One of the things that I was really sad that didn't make the Dr. Sleep movie regarding Dick Halloran was in the book. They go into a lot of detail, and it's one of the creepiest parts of the book about Dick's grandfather and how he's a scary, abusive. Like for me, it's one of the scariest like things I've read, and so it's kind of funny to see those scenes kind of appear in Welcome to Derry. And so I've been like a big fan of that in terms of like, yeah, they take elements from The Shining and Doctor Sleep, like the box, things in the box, and it opening up and all that stuff. I think that stuff has been really interesting. I've been really pleasantly surprised with it. Welcome to Derry. I think like aside from the absolutely horrific horror that is here, like the really creepy stuff, I think that like all of the world building and the characterization has worked really well. I've been pleasantly surprised with it.
Yeah. As somebody saying in the chat, we spoke about this last week, but I think they took a big swing and it paid off. Like taking out Pennywise for the first arc of this show and making the show earn its way on its own was a big swing, but I think it pays off because you like the show already, and now when you add in this element again, now we're off to the moon. Like it's the show's now. Oh, now I gotta tune in. As Pennywise is on the hunt, showing up, doing crazy crap. Yeah, now we're locked in for real. Yeah, you guys still, Matt, Janelle, you still in?
Absolutely. This show is horrifying, but so good.
We never
Perfect
did
for the holidays.
It fell through the cracks because of Thanksgiving, and we didn't really get to do it because, everybody catches up at different speeds. But I just did want to really quick touch in and not act like we don't know Stranger Things happened. And like it's not a big thing.
I thought the whole show was going to be about this, so I was scrambling to watch all of these episodes leading up.
Yeah, no, I do want to talk about this. I wanted to get everybody's impressions about part one. I really want to. I never think I'm going to be back in. Every time I go on this soapbox,
every time happens every time.
It happens every time, and it gets me, and I just burn through these 4 episodes, and I couldn't do anything else. And I was like, "Damn it!"
I was dreaming about it. I was thinking about it after every episode. I was just mulling it over in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the end, I was like, "Let's go!"
Yes.
By the end, you were doing this.
Oh my god!
You were feeling the back of your head for the goosies.
Dude.
Yeah, that meme is already the one that gets me is when I hear my kids being too quiet in the other room, and you just like,
yeah, see? It hits, man. I love. Okay, the made me laugh. The press tour for this has actually been great too.
Oh, I can't watch it. So I can't watch these old ass kids come up there and be like, "I remember the first day."
No, man, it's been great because they're just them interacting like about this stuff because like the show's on its ending run, so they can be a little more open about things. They can talk about like be very meta about moments that are happening, like the Goosies thing, right? Everyone's really aware of that, right? The 11 stuff, like it's really I like that they're being more open about it. But man, this show kicks so much. Oh my gosh, I love the show so much. And we have it you can go back and listen to every season of Comic Book Nation right before there's like a period of like 2 months before the show, the trailer hits, everyone's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm losing my mind over there. And then the show hits. I go, this is really good. I was like, yeah, this show kicks. There's so many great moments in those 4 episodes. And that first episode, I thought did a really good job of like bridging the gap of like, catching people up, but also being that mix of funny, super dark. There's some super dark stuff in this season. This is like my favorite version of Hopper. This is like my favorite version of like, I mean, there's so many characters that like Will, I feel like finally gets to be a character and not just like a plot device sometimes. Like he falls into that. Will gets like really great moments to shine here. Oh, so good. The show's so good.
Well, it's just paying off. There's actual like arcs. Like these kids have all had these crazy arcs and like grown up and like had to grow up under this crazy duress, which is like weirdly a good Gen Z kind of metaphor. And like all these dark times, this is going to be like a Gen Z defining show, and they're doing a good job of dealing with now. Like, all right, we're not kids anymore. Like Dustin's not scared of an ass beating. Like he's out there like, yo.
That's my only thing that I'm upset about is like, why did you make sweet little Dustin sucky?
Because he's traumatized. He was like the idealist, and like he had to hold his best friend dying. And Patton told you, When
He's
you're in
got
the
an
mud
arc.
and you're
But it
holding what
makes me
used to be
so
your
because
best
I don't
friend's
like
face in your
him.
hands, you'll know what to do. You'll know
Look,
what to do.
They credit to them. They did a good job of like
Making you hate him.
letting you settle. Because like I remember we talked about I think it was Witcher the most recent season of Witcher. I believe Janelle, you brought up like I wish they had let Geralt sit in a moment of
Mhm.
grief at one point and like
Yep.
let it actually sit there. You can't say that
That's true.
for Dustin because like that is the crux of he is a brat at times.
Yeah.
He makes bad decisions. He's
Mhm.
very combative,
Mhm.
especially with like Steve and other stuff.
I
But like
hate it. Yeah.
dude's dealing with it.
It's so real.
Yeah,
He's
no,
he's
yeah.
very real. He's you know
Teen
he's
trauma.
a younger person, yeah, going through grief at a level and very like grief, not even being just like, oh, he died. Like, no, he was there throughout all of it and the way it connects him, and like he's the only one willing to wear the shirts, right? He's the only one willing to keep the idea, like all that stuff, man. It's like, yeah, he's really sitting in it. I'm very curious to see where they take him in the next
Well, it's
the
also
final but
I think we forget, like, it's not just that his friend died. It's like he's rebelling. He's doing this teen rebellion
Mhm.
because he's seen like he's had that illusion broken of
Mhm.
oh, they put this lie on my man who died, who a hero, and because everybody doesn't want to look at the world and see people like who are different and want to
Yep.
vilify them, like, and so he's just kind of like F the world. He's listening to Tupac now on his headphones, you know? Like,
Sidebar,
yeah.
every mom was Karen Wheeler in that moment, including myself.
I knew. Oh my God, I knew
was-
you were gonna come on here and say
I
that.
wanted to cry. I was like, yes, girl.
I bet you were in the kitchen like, "Rrr."
Where's my wine bottle? Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, that is the stuff with girls. You gotta be careful with that. Yeah, they will freak out like that and start stabbing you up over some babies.
Don't
It's
take-
nuts. Yeah,
I don't know if we're spoiling, and I'm not, but
but
like,
bro, it's been like a week and it's like the
Okay.
first 10 minutes. Like we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, nobody's safe. You know, people can get got this season. That's what had me on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh boy, are people really about to get got? And you know, they pulled out some fantastic surprises there. But
And
yeah, seeing
also-
Hopper and 11 go to war, stuff like
Mhm.
that, and seeing people fully develop, like
that's
like,
what I was gonna say.
they're
These are
them running
actors.
a plays, they're sneaking
Like-
into the upside down. They get like that whole flip from the beginning when they're just acting like high school kids, and then they're like, oh, they're doing radio broadcasts and it's like real occupation war zone stuff. And I'm like, man, these kids are hard. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. So
They're all
yeah.
really strong actors too, which is really amazing that all of them have really come into like being full-blown Hollywood actors. I was just blown away with how talented all of the whole cast is. And that's hard when you have kiddos. Like when I watch Harry Potter, I'm like, okay, some of these kids can't really act, but it's fine. Like like these, I feel like all of them are so great and the reveals have just been so fun. And I watched this on my phone because I was trying to binge to be ready for today's show. But I told my husband, I was like, hey, please, can I rewatch all of these with you on the big TV? Because like I
Now
need
they spent the money this season. It's
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah.
Just the portals. My
Yeah.
word. You can see it. Like number one, there's a ton of them. But number two, like every time one pops up, you're like, my gosh, it looks so good. That looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
Like Demi Gorgon's just literally like, ripping into reality and out. Like
Yeah.
it all, they spent the money. It's crazy on a big screen. I watched. I started on a little screen too because I was just like rolling around doing stuff, the bathroom. But then I was like, oh yeah, I gotta actually get it on a big TV and watch it that way. So yeah, I sat up in the Dolby. It's all in Dolby presentation. If you got the TV for it, like it's pretty nuts. Yeah, we can stop with the Kate Bush song though. I don't need any more of that. Like, let's just give me a new banger.
I was okay with it.
Yeah, and the biggest hero is I was looking through photos of Natalie Dyer and Charlie, what's his name, Heaton, and the greatest thing this show has conquered is Charlie Heaton's forehead. Man, the hairstylist. Shout out to the hairstylist. They conquered that boy's forehead. Good for you. All right, so Stranger Things 5 and Linda Hamilton. Man, Linda Hamilton's crazy good actress. Like,
I love
you
Linda
put her
Hamilton.
in a
I'm
scene,
so
she's gonna eat your face if you put her in a scene with you. Like,
She
it's
kills it. Oh,
yeah. So Yep, that's Stranger Things 5. Like, it looks like we're locked back in. I think the world's too dark already, so we don't have to talk about, I mean, Warner Brothers and Netflix and everything that's happened this week. We can get into the Diddy doc. That was just my like playful, let's waste time talking about that. I know, because we do, me and Matt are hip hop fans. We are locked into certain parts of hip hop culture, other podcast shows, you know, videos, YouTubers. We keep up with some of that. And so, like, yeah, this Diddy doc, available on Netflix, was
made by Curtis.
Made us Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and one of the greatest acts of revenge pettiness I have ever seen.
I didn't know this came out, guys.
Oh, if you've been, I don't think you're like locked into hip hop media, but if you have, this has been your week up until today.
Oh, snap.
Yo, it's 50 Cent produced it, but it's a real documentary team, and they did their due diligence. They got footage from stuff Puffy was shooting before he got arrested. They talked to some of the most prominent people in Bad Boy and around him for years. Like, and I don't think you've heard a bunch of this information. I don't think you've ever had it laid out for you.
Yeah.
Both. Okay. First, this dramatically, let's be honest, you know, production values, but the timelines, the interviews, the correlating data, all of it put together in such a comprehensive way for you to look at it and be like, oh no. And it's like, it is very well split up into 4 parts. And like the 4 parts deal with like, the first one's like immediately about the arrest and like what happened and like why, and you know, what this all went back to. There's a chapter, the most damning chapter that caused the most buzz is the one about the Biggie Tupac conflict. And I said this back in 96 and people looked at me like I was nuts. Like I was nuts, but that's why I never bought any Sean John, never drank any Ciroc, never did any of this stuff, because I was like, yo, that man clearly did this, right? Like he's clearly involved in this. The man who then emerges and releases an album and gets on MTV Music Awards spinning like an idiot and doing all this stuff, making tribute songs, wearing the t-shirts, doing all this. I'm like, that's crazy, right? Like everybody sees that's crazy, right? And nobody did. They were like, oh, he's such a good friend. I was like, y'all are nuts, man. Like, obviously. And so, like, this documentary kind of lays that out in a way that's hard to refute. Yeah. There's some pretty damning evidence. And then, of course, the Cassie stuff, the history with women, Kim Porter, and just laying out for you, like, Puffy's history of just creeping on other people's girls and making it a game to try to just take them as trophies and then, you know, mistreating them and then all this stuff. And then finally the last one deals with the here and now and like the trial and what happened and everything and how it went, and basically shows you the jurors may not have been the smartest jurors in the world and possibly didn't get this all correct. And so it's a kill shot documentary. Like, it's impossible for you to watch this and come away looking at Sean Diddy Combs or even his like role it doesn't ever explicitly state this, but the most understated jab in it is how he's kind of indoctrinated his sons and how they're just like lockstep with him in this and talking about some of the most gross, awkward stuff you could ever be sharing with your sons as a father. Like,
jeez.
Yeah, like, none of that looks right. It looks crazy, and it's his footage, so it's like from inside his camp. It's not anybody tailoring
the
this.
Most insane thing that, like, because I think you put it perfectly. Like, it lays it out in a way like for those who kind of pay attention to this stuff and have been following kind of this story over years, you've heard a lot of it, or you've seen it written. You've seen it written like, oh, it's in a report or it's in a rumor or something like that, or like, you know, it's like DJ Vlad interviews of like from his like camp or whatever, like, oh, this happened. I feel like half of this stuff you haven't actually seen.
No, there's new footage in a lot of this.
Yeah.
Oh, they have footage from Tupac's killing. They have footage from like all of this that is just like, it's nuts. And you're like, oh my God. Like, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty. And the portrait it paints is of, I think the funniest stuff is the old footage of him before he reinvented himself, how he was like this skinny, eraser-headed dweeb. like that everybody laughed at in the room was like, look at this guy hanging on. And that just drove him to kind of like become this guy who proved himself the cool kid. And like, it's pretty damning. Anyway, like I said, it's dark enough out here without the pop-up P Diddy pop Diddy doc thing that's out there on Netflix. But yeah, this is a big topic that's going through our minds. Like that Dave Chappelle skit. There's so much stuff. Boondocks, Dave Chappelle skit, all this stuff. There's so many references. You look back now and realize people inside the industry were throwing subliminals about who this man was. And
50 Cent's been the most open.
Oh,
dude's been going on Breakfast Club and stuff, talking about how weird this stuff is for years. And
people have said the funniest quote I've seen is that if you've never heard this like legendary story, when 50 Cent first started the industry, the rivalry with Puff started because Puffy approached him in California and said, "Hey man, let me take you shopping." And 50 Cent was like, "What?" And he immediately peeped everything that he needed to see about this man and like what his intentions were and everything. And he was like, "Get the hell away from me." And it's been on ever since then. The people are like, I bet Puffy is just every night wishing he could take back that shopping request, like that one shopping request he could just take back. But yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Was I the only one who saw Five Nights at Freddy? It's Eddie. Oh my God. Evan, did you see this?
No, I did not see it. I saw the first one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's what I figured.
This movie had me so thrown that I had to stop in the lobby and like some creep walk up to some like teenage boys and be like, "Hey man, can I talk to you for a second with my overcoat on?" But I did. I interviewed and I was like, "I need you to tell me what you just thought about this movie." Because these kids were the ones, they had the merch, they came for the free t-shirt, they bought the like $60 popcorn bucket. They were going nuts in there and they were going nuts in that theater. And I was just sitting there the whole time like, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, what am I doing here? But they were into it. So I now know that I have reached unk status. This movie is not for me. I didn't get on the Five Nights at Freddy's train. I think the only thing I'll say as a film critic is this is for the fans of the games exclusively. Like, if you're hoping for just to get some kind of wider horror experience out of this, you won't. And this chapter, while I think it is better than the first one, definitely in terms of production values, all that stuff, even the horror, there's more kills, there's actual kills in this. This is a placeholder for part 3. It's not a real movie. There's not even a third act. If you read deep enough, you'll figure that out. The third act is, now there's some real stakes for part 3. And I saw that coming and I was like, I looked at my clock and I was like, they can't really do that in a movie, right? Oh, yes, you can. You can just cop out of a third act and say, no, we're setting up bigger stakes for the next one. Yeah. And so that's what we do here. And down to the very last frame of the film, which is, again, new villain incoming in part 3. So this feels already like a weird soap opera. A lot of it is about these weird characters I don't care about and like their whole saga, the will they, won't they of Josh Hutcherson's character in what's her name from You, and But the kids love it. These kids thought this was like far better than the original. And somebody said, and I take this is like gateway horror for them. And so I appreciate that. Gateway horror is a good way to look at it for, lower Gen Zs, lower end of Gen Z, just getting into horror now. This is for them. So they seem to love it. Reactions seem to be good from the fandom, but I'm an unk and I know that now. And this film has confirmed it. Any quick thoughts about Zootopia 2 we want to get off, or do we want to do a comic, or what do you want to do?
I had just a quick thing. I haven't seen it yet. But my wife took the Munchkin and they went to go see Zootopia 2. I got a direct report from both. We adore the first Zootopia, but they both came away liking the second one even more. I was very surprised because I adore the first Zootopia, and I thought that some of the new characters and things really resonated, especially with Ember. Was very much like some of the new characters, including the snake, but mostly like some of the other kind of supporting characters around. But they both came away like they want to see it again. So this thing made bank This
Yeah,
thing
it's crazy.
crushed
Yeah, it's making crazy money.
over
no,
half a mil in 3-4 days. That's insane. So good report from them.
I enjoyed it because the first one is very kind of simplistic. It's like, let's break it. Zootopia is playing a dangerous game. I will say that. Zootopia is playing a very dangerous game, but it's pulling it off. Like, there's kind of race allegory stuff and animals gets tricky sometimes. The first one was obviously about they did it appropriately because it was like the bunny was like a naive country bumpkin white girl and the fox is a black guy, city guy, but it was passable because both characters were cool. So there was nobody was tripping. But every black person said that was like, wait a minute. Like, I know what this is, like when we started watching this. But it was good. And it was a good kind of feel good. We can all kind of come together story. I think this one is resonating because I was surprised when the real heart of this story cracked open, what they were saying and what they were doing. I was like, whoa. But I was like, good for you, Disney. Like, that is a big one because this one's all about like basically like white wealthy elitist real estate schemes, like displacement of like migrant populations, things like that. Like, I was like, wow, okay, so we're doing Superman again, but like Moravia, like, but we kind of are in it. But they do it in a way again that is for kids to really kind of begin to tackle these concepts. And at the heartfelt parts, my kids were like caught up at the heartfelt parts of this. Like, they were really resonating with like the stuff about inclusion and like, hit your history, your culture history, and the truth of things and how people can be framed and depicted and vilified. And ironic we're saying this now today, a day later, after some old man woke up from a nap and just went on a full Clint Eastwood Gran Torino tirade. But they spoke to that, and at this very moment in time when there's all these negative forces, they kind of were like, that was like for them, that was like a rah-rah thing for them. And I was like, oh yeah. Like, I was in there like, yeah, trying to support that. Also, visually, this is amazing. The effects they do with water in this, like just seeing a sequence where they're chasing the snake and the snake can slither on water and they have to figure out how to traverse water without, to keep up, is technically, I was just like, damn, like the animators really did their thing. Gary DeSnake is alone, just visually, when you realize like how a snake has to move, how they have to animate that, the scales, all of that looks stunning. So visually, this is an amazing movie as well. So also comedy is off the charts in this. The one-liners in this are kind of off the charts. I'm sure you've heard the viral kind of Idris Elba referring to the fox's orange dog at one part when he's pissed at him, which made me spit out my drink out loud. Like, there's some other, he also asked him at one part, he was like, you know how you're always talking about your traumatic childhood to the fox? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you want a traumatic adulthood too? And I was like, oh man. I was like, that is going in my parenting lexicon for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, you'd be like, you guys want to parent?
I want to see it. I can't.
Like,
I can't wait.
No, but it was good. And I say it's playing a dangerous game because the allegories are getting, we're winding out this time. And so there's Marine Town, which is Danny Trejo's a lizard in a town full of amphibians. You do the math of cold-blooded amphibians of what we're talking about there. The snakes are obviously key, is voicing the snake, and their culture is all Eastern culture. You can go there and do that whole thing there. But there is a teaser for what Zootopia 3 would incorporate and cover. If you're kind of clocking this, there's one animal group we really haven't clocked much of yet, and I'm just interested to see what they do with that. That's going to be very interesting to see who those animals, are and what that story is. So, yeah, Brian knows what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, they're the next one. I'm just like, whoa. I was like, okay, all right. So we'll see what Zootopia 3 is all about. But yeah, it was a good little flick. I was happy with this one. I'm out. I talk. Matt, we can pick one comic. We got time to do.
All right. I'm gonna leave this one up to Janelle. Janelle, which comic would you like to spotlight of the two?
Wiccan.
Oh,
okay.
No, yeah. I did not.
I know.
I picked this.
I gotta stop thinking I know you like that. All right.
Because of Janelle. I said, oh, there's a Wiccan book. Oh, we gotta. And then I read it and was like, oh, okay. If you're a Agatha fan at all, or Witch's Road, or any of that stuff, I was like, yeah, Janelle. So Janelle, what did you? Let's start with you. Like, what did you think of this? How'd you coming into it?
I mean, I don't know if there's any context that I need to know, but I feel like they set it up perfectly fine in the little review in the first page.
Right.
There's one criticism: they use a lot of pet names, and it's a little over the top. If my friends were like using such pet names constantly around me, I'd be like, okay, guys, chill out. Like, they don't need to say baby, 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 baby every single time you talk to each other. But besides that, it's
You don't still do
really
that? No,
no.
I'm just kidding. I found it. Yes.
But this is the I love the story. I love the way that they set it up. I don't know what exactly took place to begin the story, but you're in like a state of alarm right when it opens up. Like, what is going on? Are you guys okay? Are they going to make it? And then it further moves into like higher stakes, and then it gets even more higher stakes by the end, that it's nice to like feel kind of on edge through the entire read. And obviously, like, I love these characters, and there's so much for me to learn about the history. Like, I don't even know why like Billy and Tommy like don't like each other. Like, there's just a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of potential for growth here for me as a reader and not knowing these stories very well. So I feel like I understood what was happening, and I'm really intrigued and want to like deepen my knowledge of these characters, which is really cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines is the thing where it's like, "Why ain't you fast like your brother?"
Yeah.
And I was he's like, "Oh, your sense of humor is
Yeah.
intact, right?" That made me laugh. And I think they do a good job of like, because this is all coming from both Imperial and the Creed, so like there's a lot of stuff that happens before this. I thought they did a pretty good job of like, hey, let's just
Some
take
stuff
care of the
went
here and
down.
now. Yeah, some stuff happened. It was very SpongeBob SquarePants 2 years later, whatever, like that. And then like, hey, here we go, and you're just in it. And then I do agree with you. By the end, you're like, there's some crazy stuff that happens like towards the end here, and where things leave off. I thought they did a really good job. Kofi, did you check this one out?
Yeah, I'm rereading it because I checked it out early, but I was just looking back through it. Yeah, Billy and Teddy can be really either really well done or really not well done, depending on who's handling them.
Yeah.
And usually depending on their either experience or point of orientation to know these two characters in an authentic way. But when well done, like, there is a reason why they're kind of one of Marvel's biggest modern ships, and why people like really love seeing them together and their kind of love and devotion. But they're also very different personalities. They're also two obviously gay men, but they're also two powerful heroes. There's a lot of complexity that goes into these two. I'm like Janelle. I thought some of the dialogue felt like a little too over the top, like New York meatpacking district clubbing scene right now. Like two boys talking, like I would hear this on the train. Like, baby, how you doing over there, baby? Like, you know, it's over the top for a superhero group. So some of that didn't ring authentic to me, but their interactions, their connection, and when, you know, Wiccan has to step out on his own and try to help and go out and do all this and them battling together, all of that stuff I enjoyed. And them on a quest and kind of down bad like this, which it kind of refocuses on their kind of core skills. Like at what part Wiccan says to herself, like, yo, you're an Avenger, like pick up the sword, get in there, like remember who you are.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The whole Kate thing was great.
Yeah, and just remembering about Kate is good. And you know, we're in this setting where things are so crazy, fantastical magic. We get the Green Knight kind of finale to this. If you don't know that King Arthur legend about Galahad and the Green Knight, you know, cutting off the head and, you know, surviving, all that stuff. So I don't know. Oh, I didn't even remember this last page. They meet Baba Yaga. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just kind of out in Magic Land with these two characters doing crazy stuff. But I'm not mad at it. Is this this is a mini series?
Yeah, mini series.
Yeah. Then I'm not mad at this at all. So seeing Hulkling and Wiccan kind of starting after Imperial and knowing it's kind of, if you're here for the drama, is good because there's a lot of like relationship ground, as Janelle was saying. At when we, even if you don't know all the history, you could pick up on the fact that lots happened between these two, and they've been through some ish as a couple. And yeah, so it's not also just the quest itself, but how they're doing emotionally with each other along the quest. So well done opener.
There we go. But that's comics.
All right. And yeah, we gotta get out of here this week. Producer Pete has another gig. We all got stuff to do. Netflix just messed out our whole day with this thing, but we are Comic Book Nation. We will be next week with more thoughts. I don't know what the entertainment industry is going to be, but everybody just keep on keeping on. It's Christmas season. Show some cheer.
Yeah.
All right, Evan, Janelle, Matt, we got to go. No long out today. We're Comic Book Nation. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Deuces.
Bye.
Yeah.